My wife is convinced that she is pregnant even though every pregnancy test comes back negative. It's taking a toll on our marriage because she thinks I'm going to abandon her and our twins. My wife and I have been married for 2 years together for 15. All this time we had either not decided to have kids or had problems getting pregnant. After some medical testing, we found out that it was nearly impossible to get pregnant due to some medical issues. We were thinking of adopting when one day she came home and told me she was expecting. Of course, I was super happy. A week later we had an appointment at the gyno and she had some blood drawn. The test came back negative and of course, I was devastated but she wasn't. She claimed that she was pregnant and that the doctor was wrong. We took some more store-bought ones and they all came back negative. My wife is in complete denial. Now she claims we are having twins. She is buying them clothes and decorations and is pressuring me to start with the nursery. I am at a loss and don't know what to do. My inaction is making her believe that I want to leave them and that I'm going to do my wife into the life of a single mom. What the F is even happening? I love her but I don't know what to do. She says that she can't lift heavy things, says she has pregnancy cravings, she buys clothes for the twins, and she is even planning to take paid time off from work for when the babies are here. I have tried talking her into therapy and she shuts down 100% and accuses me of gaslighting her. Update. 7 days later, I called up our primary doctor and told him about the problem. He seemed very concerned and wanted us to come see him the next morning. He said it was important to be gentle but not feed into her delusions. I sat her down and we talked. All she wanted to talk about was when I would get the nursery started and that we were on a time crunch, and how she had found a perfect color for the room, how she wanted me to be more involved in her pregnancy. I tried to be very calm but I was very perturbed by seeing her that way. I asked her to go to the doctor with me tomorrow. She said yes, that she wanted to check on the babies either way. Now I took some advice and words you gave me about being calm and asking a bit why she thinks she is pregnant without calling her delusional. So I did. She kept changing subjects or saying a mother just feels it. You wouldn't know how it is. Then I said that I loved her really much, that I would never think of leaving her, but we needed to go to the doctor to confirm her gut feeling. She got very agitated and was crying, telling me that if I wanted to leave her I should simply leave but I shouldn't call her a liar. Somehow I managed to calm her down enough for her to go to sleep. After she did I went on her computer. I do never snoop on her, but I remembered a commenter pointing out forums about cryptic pregnancy and so I went for the lookout. Oh boy, she was in 2 Facebook groups. One was a normal mommy Facebook group and the other was a group about women who believed they were pregnant. In the normal group she would post updates about her symptoms and pictures of her belly and her story about how she was almost not able to have children, but that's to the grace of God that kissed her tummy the gift of life was given to her, and how she was compensated for all these years of suffering with twins. In the other group the women were quite literally, and excuse me here, effing insane. They were feeding in each other's delusions. A woman said that she was almost 2 years pregnant and how sometimes it just takes longer. My wife would post there complaining about doctors who do not take her seriously and about me. So many women were making her fear that I would leave, saying things like men cannot stick to a woman. Many recounted their stories about how their marriages broke down because their spouses could not handle the pregnancy. I was really effing scared. I researched phantom pregnancies and I read somewhere that could also be a sign of schizophrenia. So to say the least I could not sleep. I was, and am still very afraid of losing her. She woke up and I tried to act like nothing was wrong. We were going to the doctor, and it was as if nothing had happened yesterday. She was convinced that we were going to a pregnancy checkup. Things got really bad when we began talking to the doctor. He was really tactful when talking to my wife. He tried to explain her that it was medically impossible that she was pregnant. We tried to show her tests, the ultrasound we did the day before, but nothing. She got more agitated and began to cry and scream at me for making her look like a crazy person. She began bouncing back and forth and holding her head with both hands. We could not calm her. She went in on a full-on panic attack. She could not breathe. The doctor laid her down and tried giving her some medicine for her to relax, but it did not help as he didn't have the necessary tools to treat a panic attack that was that bad. She had to go to the hospital where they took care of her, did an EKG to exclude that she was suffering a heart attack. At that point, I really had no other option than to inquire about involuntary commitment. So I could not do it myself. I needed my doctor's statement that she was a danger to herself and others, and he had to initiate the process of an involuntary examination of 72 hours. After that, we will have to submit a written statement to the court to determine whether or not she can stay there against her will. So far I have submitted all her posts in both Facebook groups as well as the test we did with timestamps when possible. My wife is 2 days in the 3-day examination and I have no contact with her. When I last her she was furious with me. She said I was taking away her freedom, which I am. I felt horrible, dirty, and useless. She is so mad at me. I feel like I am abandoning her and don't know how she will ever forgive me. I love her with all my heart. I am afraid of what will happen if the courts decide that I can't commit her, and how our life will be affected. I feel like I failed to protect her. Update 8 months later. I don't even know how much time has passed, but I am very happy to say that things are working out. I have my wife's permission to share this with you all, and she is even telling me to greet you. After being in the 72-hour stay, it was determined that she had to stay there. My wife was pissed for the first few weeks. It was a devastating time. But time and therapy heals all wounds. Slowly I was allowed to come visit, and every day I went I saw a bit more of the person I loved. There were setbacks along the way and I had to watch a lot what I said and did. For example, the first few weeks she wouldn't tolerate touch or something like that. Our trust had to be regained slowly. From both parts. We put so much work in, and even now that she is back home, and has been for a while, we sometimes have bad days where it is difficult for my wife to get out of bed or where I am suspicious of her getting back into that state. But at the end of the day I am happy. We go to counseling together and we are on individual therapy as well, especially because due to the stress I developed a form of anxiety. But every day it's a bit better. I have discovered new sides of my wife, like the new hobby that she has of making resin jewelry and decorations. Even our quarantine time has been quite peaceful. We still have remote therapy and everything. Things are not normal yet, and adoption is not back on the table as of now. We have given ourselves at least a year of therapy before we think about parenting and raising a child. One thing is for certain. I am still in love with my wife and and I still love her so much. Our relationship might not be better than ever, but it sure as hell is stronger than ever. Also, she has done a lot of self-reflection and of course has thanked me for how I handled things. She is lovely. We are happy.